Okay, so now that we have understood the basics of for loop and how to use range function, it's time to see the concept of nested for loop. Okay, so let us try to understand this concept using a simple problem statement. Okay, so the problem statement is that we want to generate this particular number tables. Okay, so as you can observe, there are 10 columns. Okay, so I have not written all the columns, but you can get the idea from the image in front of you. Okay, so the first column, as you can observe, so it is saying 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 1 is 2, likewise. So it is the table for 1. Again, the second column, it will be the table for 2. Again, likewise, the last column will be the table for 10. Okay, so we want to generate this kind of table in our output. Okay, so let us just go into IntelliJ IDEA and try to solve this given problem. Okay, so we are in our IntelliJ IDEA. Let us just try to solve our given problem statement. Okay, so I just write the code for the same. Okay, so for suppose if I take the same variable I in range, now I want the range to start from 1 and I want it to end at 10. That is why I will take it as 11. Okay, because the last number is not included. Okay, so colon should be there. Okay, so as soon as I press enter, there will be indentation. Okay, now let us just observe what I am doing. For j in range, okay, so what I have done here right now is that I have put another for loop inside my first for loop, okay, and that too in that indentation. Okay, so this is called as nesting of for loops. Okay, so there is one for loop inside the other for loop, but be very careful regarding this indentation. Okay, if you remove this indentation, they will come on the same line. Okay, so that we don't want. We want one for loop inside the other. And why we want that? Because we want to create that number tables. Okay, so let us just create that first and then we will understand it more. Okay, so as soon as I press enter, just observe the indentation level that I am at. Okay, so I am right now at this indentation level, which is the indentation for this particular second for loop. Okay, which is inside the first for loop. Okay, now I can print what I wanted. So I can print times curly bracket, I would put one space, curly bracket is, again I would put another curly bracket. Okay, and as we always do, dot format in that. So I want the number to change it at the first side. Okay, so I just take j first, then I will take I, and because we want the multiplication of both, I would say I into j. Okay, so let us just put numbers here as well. Okay, so 0, again 1, and again 2. Okay, so they will represent these values inside our dot format method. Okay, so what actually is happening here is that this will print the j value, this will print the I value, and here it will be printed the multiplication of both I and j. Okay, and what I would do is, after getting my result, I want uh, the columns to be separated somehow. Okay, so I'll just show you how the result will come out for this particular program, then you will understand the problem that I'm about to tell. Okay, so I'm getting the table, but it is the other, all the tables are one below each other. Okay, so the table of 1 is ending, I'll just zoom it in a bit. Okay, so the table of 1 is ending somewhere right here. Okay, and the table of 2 is starting right below that. Okay, so let us just have a separator in between that. Okay, so I'll have to be very careful while putting the separator, because if I press enter and if I suppose put that separator, suppose if I print separator as stars only. Okay, so I want to print this line of stars. Okay, so let us just observe what happens. So if I just run this code, so the separator that I have put, it will come after each line. Okay, so that we don't want. What we wanted was, we want the separator after one table is complete. Okay, so what you have to do is, you'll have to remove this one indentation. Okay, it means that after completion of this complete one table, I want to have this one separator. Okay, so if I just run this code now, you will observe that I am getting a separator after each table. Okay, so I'll just put it above. Okay, so this is the table for one. Okay, as soon as it ends, I'm getting the line of star, separator of star, and I'm starting with the other columns. Okay, so I think you have understood the concept and how we have done it, but I still want you to understand the logic if you have not understood it. Okay, so the thing here is that how it works is, for each value of I, okay, so as we have seen in the earlier program, the I value will vary from 1 to 10. Okay, so when the value of I is 1, it will come inside this particular for loop with value of I is equal to 1. And here again there is another loop starting, so the j will start to vary from range value 1 to 10. Again j value will be 1, so while coming inside, the value of I will be 1 and j will be 1. Okay, and at that time, for value of I 1 and j 1, the answer will print out to be 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, likewise after that it will again go back here at this loop. Okay, so very important thing that you'll have to remember here is that after execution of this print, it goes back here and not directly here. Okay, so when it goes back here, it will again change the value of j from 1 to 2. Okay, but I value will remain to be 1. It will go again come inside, and now at this point it will say that the j value is 2, so 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, so likewise it will iterate in the range for this particular for loop until the value of j is 10. Okay, as soon as j reaches 10, and for the value of 10, when this is executed, it will go back to this for loop and the I value will be 2. Okay, and with 2 value it will again come inside. For value of I to be 2, this loop will be executed for 1 to 10. Okay, so the thing here that you'll have to remember is that for each value of outer loop, the inner loop, this complete inner loop will execute for its all values. Okay, and after completing all the execution for one value of I, this separator is also printed out, and that is why after each number table we had that particular separator because of this indentation. Okay, but be very careful regarding the indentation. This is first, this is the basic indentation. There is no indentation at this level. At this level, this is the first indentation level that we have got for the first for loop, and this is your second indentation level. Okay, so be very careful, and this is again coming back to your first indentation level. Okay, so indentation is very important while nesting the for loops. Okay, and we can even use the debugger to understand this process more. Okay, so what we can do is, let us just debug our code, but before that let us just set a breakpoint over here. Okay, and suppose if I debug my code. Okay, so right now it is at this point. Let us just step over. Okay, so just observe here, it is saying that I is equal to 1. Okay, so it is getting inside it with value of I is equal to 1. If I again put that step over, it is now with, it is going inside that inside to that print statement with j is equal to 1. Now observe what happens when I press that step over function again. So when I do that, it is coming back to the second for loop. Okay, observe carefully. Okay, and if I press it again, right now observe that j value had changed to 2, but I value is remaining same as it is. Okay, again it is going inside. Okay, so likewise whenever it is going inside, the print statement is getting executed. So as you can observe at the console pane, if I just zoom it in a bit, it is saying that 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, so that is being printed. Okay, so let us just go back to debugger again, and let's just step over. Okay, so as you can observe, if I just do it a bit faster, you can observe the value of j changing, and each time the value of j changing, it is printing out the output. Okay, so what happens is that whenever I step over, just observe here. Okay, so 8, 9 and again 10. Okay, so as you can observe, we have reached to the maximum value of j is equal to 10 now. And if you again check the console, you can observe that the series we have obtained for one value up to 9. Okay, so as soon as I put that step over function again, we have received 10 times 1 is 10, and it has again gone back to the second for loop. But observe what happens now, because we have exhausted the values for j. Okay, so when I put or when I press step over again, just observe what has happened. It has gone directly to that print statement that we have given for separator. Okay, because we are exhausted with the values for this particular j. Okay, right now it is going to that print. So when I press step over again, it will print. I'll just scroll it down. So as you can observe, it has given me that separator. It has gone back to the original for loop, first for loop. Okay, so if I just press step over again, it is coming inside with I value is equal to 2. Okay, and the same process will be executed for I value 2. Again j will iterate from 1 to 10. Okay, and same things we will get at the output pin. Okay, so I hope you have understood the nesting of for loops, and we have understood it using debugger. You can use the debugger if you have not still understood more, and you can check it stepwise. Okay, so okay, then I'll see you in the next video.